Yeah, I'm ready.
So please introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. My name is Thomas Hall. I am a writer. I do several different independent books. My latest one is called King. It's about a guy that looks like Elvis who fights monsters. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. Fun book for the whole family.
How did you develop that character?
Well, I was doing another book, more serious, kind of supernatural horror book that got put on hiatus by the publisher. And the artist that I was working with, he just called me up one day and says, "I want to do something. You know, we can't just not do anything for a while because we've been in creative mode for several years now, developing things." And what happened was one thing led to another. We just had a conversation. I said, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "I want to draw Elvis," kind of as a joke. I said, "Okay, what do you want him doing?" And he says, "Oh, fighting somebody." I said, "How about monsters?" And he says, "Okay, great." So I wrote the script about how he was like, he went to his favorite burger joint and it was overrun with zombies, and he just basically killed them because he wanted to get something good to eat. He, didn't want the only place that made the burgers his way, kind of to go by the wayside. So it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. We put it out early this year, and the next one follow-up is in the works.
When did you decide that you wanted to write comics?
I've always liked writing. It's always been something that I enjoyed from the time I was real small. I like telling stories. I like the reaction that it gets from people. And so it was kind of like I got to know people who were artists only, and so comics kind of came naturally when I started reading them. And the artist friend of mine, Daniel, who does the book, he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do a comic someday." And I said, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." So we started kicking ideas around, and one thing led to another.
What was your favorite comic growing up?
My favorite comic growing up was Ghost Rider. Loved that book. Loved that book because it was so ridiculous. It's like he'd be driving along, Johnny Blaze on his little motorcycle, and he'd come across some freak in the woods, and it would turn out to be the devil, or some giant monster would pop out of something, and then he would turn into the Ghost Rider, and fire would come out, and it was ridiculous. And I just liked the fact that it was nothing like real life. There was no redeeming quality to it. It wasn't like there was no message. It was just him versus whatever. I enjoyed that. So
you must have seen the movie then. How was the movie different from the comic book in your opinion?
The movie kind of tried to collect a whole lot of different versions of Ghost Rider into one kind of somewhat cohesive story. You could tell that the guys that were involved were like fans of the book, but it was eye candy.
Yeah.
It wasn't terribly well written, but it was fun. I think they're going to make another one. It'll probably be better. So.
Do you have any future projects lined up?
Yeah, my next book, also with the same guy I did King with, is going to be called Enlightenment. It's about a woman who can see the spiritual world, and she's a detective. And her whole ability to see that comes upon her when she's investigating a serial killing. A serial killer who actually breaks into people's houses and kills entire families. That person happens to be filled with evil demons from Egyptian ancient lore or whatever. So she gets on the case of this and tries to find this person. The demon pops out of one person and into another, and she decides that she's going to hunt that person down, even though the murder, quote unquote, is solved. She wants to find the thing that's actually causing all this. So, that's going to be out in January from Marcosia. They're a company that publishes in the UK. So it'll be available in the US, but it's primarily a UK based. And other than that, I'm always up for things.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there a website that we could follow your work?
Yeah. Myself and Daniel, we work out of, it's called www.blackliststudios.com. You can check that out. You can also, King has his own MySpace page. It's for him. It's actually as if it were his space page. So a lot of chicks go there, but most of them get kicked off because we don't promote that kind of thing. I try to be somewhat family oriented, but that's myspace.com/don't mess with King. So, and he also has a tendency to badmouth people, but that's all right. We keep him under lock and key.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and that's a wrap.
Thank you.